What's going on? This is Jeremiah. You're watching the Vision of Jeremiah channel, and today I have another Autodesk Maya tutorial for you. And today we're just going to go ahead and try to cover the basis up of statics and dynamics within Autodesk Maya. And I'm gonna go ahead and just try to share with you like the basic setup for it, and you can go ahead and mess around with the attribute settings itself, and just figure out what type of look that you're going for. But I'm just here like to start it up for you. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Haven't applied no type of dynamics yet to anything on my workspace area right now. But as you can see, like inside my workspace area, I have a simple plane that I created there, like to represent my floor. I have a sphere. Cut off my grid. I have a sphere, and I have a couple cubes that I just moved on a grid, and just duplicated and just stacked them on top of each other. It's no problem. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, make sure that's inside your dynamics module. And what you want to do first is go to your floor or any type of object inside your scene that you do not want to be affected by other objects, to collide, break apart, anything like that. You want to click on that object. In this case, it's going to be my floor. You have a soft body and rigid body tab here. You want to go ahead and create a passive rigid body. Alright, and everything else that you wanted to be affected with each other and collide, you want to make an active rigid body. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click my sphere. I'm going to go to active. I'm going to click all my cubes here, deselect my plane, and create another active. And if I press play, I'm going to go ahead and crank these right here. And if I press play, you can see that nothing happens. That's fine. That is cool. That's because of the simple fact we haven't messed around with this with the attribute settings inside our rigid body nodes itself. So you can either do this two ways. You're gonna go ahead and mess around with the attribute settings inside your attribute editor or your channel box. I like to work with the attribute editors inside my channel box, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna click on my sphere, and if I scroll down, you'll see we have our rigid body node for our sphere here. You can see that inside your outliner as well. If you go ahead and click on this plus, you can see we have a rigid body over here. You can access it by that way too. But I'm going to just click my sphere for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and just try to go through this briefly, but try to give you some details of what these things can do. I'm not going to go through the whole list of it. Some of them is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna just go through our initial velocity, our mass, our bounciness, damping, and friction. So, and everything else you can go ahead and just mess around with. Also, you have the option to keyframe passive and active rigid bodies. I was trying to figure out what the hell. You can either you can keyframe when you want a certain object to be affected by the active body or be affected by the passive body. That's a pretty cool effect too. I might have to do that for a whole nother tutorial though, but for right now we're just going to go ahead and just stick with this one. But I'm going to go ahead and go to my front here right fast so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, click on my sphere. Now you want to pay attention to your Y, X, and Z axis down here inside your left when working with your attribute settings with your rigid bodies, and you want to pay attention to your script editor. That can be accessed right here at the bottom right, that little button there. And any given time you get like a little red warning sign, you want to come here, and usually it'll tell you what you have to do first in order to get the type of effect that you're going for. That's a pretty cool little handy helper right there as well. But if I scroll down here inside my rigid body node for my sphere, I want my sphere to go inside this direction from right to left. Well, right now, if we turn in our grid, and if our grid was up to like facing us right now, my sphere is on the positive x-axis. Alright, I needed to go from right to left, so obviously it got to go from positive to negative. That's when we get these attribute settings over here inside our initial velocity for our x, y, and z. I'll go ahead and just mess around with that. Right now is just set to 0, so it's not moving. I can crank in 10 and it's still going to go right. Alright, in order to go from right to left, you must type in a negative number. Type in -10 and have that just collide with our cubes. You see that? It collides, our cubes just kind of go all off and away. Our sphere even gets stopped by the cubes from its initial velocity. Alright? And the reason for that, because our mass itself for our sphere is not overpowering the cubes. It's kind of balancing out, so it's being stopped. Alright? Now that's just one way to move an object. That's how out of direction that you're going for. You can even select an object and create a field for that particular type of object to be affected by that field. I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the cubes here in a minute. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just mess around my sphere. I need my sphere to be heavier than my cubes. See that? It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and reach my mass. I'm going to go ahead and type in the value of, let's just say 20. So I will go right through. It didn't get stopped. It just went right through. That's pretty cool. And, you know, like bounciness is kind of self-explanatory. You know, if you want a whole lot of bounciness, if you don't want a whole lot of bounciness, you go just mess around with this. Damping. Damping is like, it's like, I still think of dampening of like a gravity situation. Like, if I crank in 3 or something like that for this, it's probably going to get stopped even before it reaches the cubes here. See that? You see that? It's kind of like a black hole, like sucking. I don't know. It's just, that's that. Go ahead and crank that down back to 0 for my sphere, and I'm gonna crank down my bounciness for my sphere to like 0.2. Just press play. So my sphere just going right through, knocking off the cubes there. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and deselect my sphere. I'm gonna go ahead and select all my cubes now. Go ahead and mess around with these attribute settings. Now I'm gonna go down here to my let's see, to my bounciness for my cubes. I'm gonna just crank that down to like 0.2. I'm gonna give them some static and dynamic friction, 0.4 for both of them, and just press play. Play. You can see that they still kind of splatter all over the place. That's fine. That's cool. Let's go ahead and add a field with that. So with our cube still selected, I can go ahead and go to field, gravity. Alright. Turn off my grid right fast. And if I press play now, see that? You can do some real cool effects just with the dynamics module and understanding exactly the attribute settings that you want to do here. You know, you can knock down the building if you want to. You can do all types of stuff with this. It's pretty cool. That's pretty much the basic setup of your dynamics. You can, you know, like I said, you can do the little set keyframe, you know, for your active and passive bodies. But other than that, this is literally like the basic setup of the dynamics. I'm Jeremiah, and I hope this video helps y'all out a lot. Thank you.